Good to see you all. Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good, restful holiday season, with probably the exception of the Mercy House team. Um, and everybody stayed clear of the bug that was going around too. Um, we are just going to give a couple general announcements before we get started. A few kind of general reminders as we kick off the new year. Uh, I'm not going to go too in depth with this, but just a reminder that we're talking about people first when we're talking about homelessness issues. So that's why you hear us using language like people experiencing homelessness instead of homeless people. It's just a good way for us to reframe this whole issue. Is that they're largely people who are from Santa Barbara County before they became homeless. For that reason, also, we sometimes talk about houseless versus homeless because most of the people in our community are actually from this community originally. So they are technically home, but might be without a house. But for the sake of ease, we do use that homelessness terminology. And then just the final thing is that a reminder that there's not one experience of homelessness, it's not one monolith experience. We're seeing more and more, especially vehicular homelessness, throughout this whole state. And it's just a really good reminder to us all that there's so many different types of homelessness that we're going to see out in the community. So just keep that in mind as we're talking about solutions to homelessness. We're often talking about different kinds of solutions for different kinds of situations. Um, so yeah, just wanted to lead off with that as we start. And then also just put out a reminder to everyone that we do have quite a few resources at our disposal. I realize that what's not listed here is the actual SB Connect app, which is probably the best resource that we have for reporting any issues related to homelessness. So I'm going to pull up the link and put that in the chat. It is also available on smartphones as an app. Strongly encourage you to download that because that's a great way to help people either get connected to services or to report if it is like a non-emergency issue. But in addition to that, there are some ways that you can call for assistance with outreach, or if there's non-emergency mental health concerns, there are different phone numbers for each of those different kinds of issues. Yeah, go ahead, Olivia.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say for the outreach number, when the contract got renewed, the hours changed. And we're trying to get new business cards to reflect that. So the hours are now 9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. instead of 11:30 to 10.
Sorry, can you say the hours one more time? I'm gonna update the
Yes,
slide
9:30 a.m. to 8 p.m.
to 8 p.m. Thank you.
Yes.
I think our like we have these wallet sized business cards that have these phone numbers on them, and so I'll work on updating that. I believe that the cards also have a phone number that was previously used by Path, so I'll check with the Mercy House team and find out if there is a number that they'll be using moving forward, and then we'll update the cards accordingly. In terms of our events and things coming up, just so you know, this group meets every 2 weeks. So our next meeting will be on the 23rd of this month. And then, Barbara, do you want to share about the event this Wednesday?
Yeah, we're holding a small gathering to welcome Mercy House to the neighborhood. So this will take place at the Eastside Library from 4:30 to 6 p.m. Next Wednesday. We'll have an opportunity for folks to meet each other and to sit down and for Mercy House to share their kind of organizational background, history in doing this work, their approach to service delivery here in Santa Barbara, and then city staff will be joining them to answer any questions that folks may have. So this is, specific to the East Side neighborhood, but there will obviously be opportunities moving forward for Mercy House to interact with providers and leaders countywide. But this is kind of our first toe into a warm welcome to Mercy House.
That's awesome. Welcome all. And you can see Nancy and Nina are on the call with us, and they'll be sharing a little bit of an update today.
Morning.
One, la-
Happy New Year, everybody.
Hi, Susie.
Happy New Year.
One last general announcement before we open it up for community members is that it is warming center season. And so there are specific criteria for when the warming centers are actually open, but they were open quite a bit over the last week during the rains. They're not open unless it's either 50% chance of rain or below 35 degrees. So we probably won't see them reopening again for a little while. I don't see any weather events on the horizon. But you can always call the hotline listed here to check and find out if it's open on any given day. So I encourage you to save that in your phone. All right. So at this point in the meeting, we typically will go around to community members to share any concerns or questions. And then once we're done with that, we'll do around the horn with all of our different shelter and outreach providers and city staff as well. So let's start with community members. Anything you wanted to report or ask about?
I'll just say I noticed an increase in kind of the trash around Cacique. And I know previously it had been cleaned up more so, and we've noticed that it just seems like it's getting back to how it was before.
Susie, thank you for bringing that up. I don't see our code enforcement team here, but I'll reach out to them to make sure that we're back on our regular schedule after the holiday closure.
Thank you. Let's go to Jose.
Okay. Yesterday, got a call from a client that's now staying at Mercy House there, and I wanted to know, well, how is the staff compared to former past staff individuals? And he told me way better, way better. He says Mercy Living staff, they're they're really good. He says to everyone there that's there now, a little more freedom, a little more freedom. Still some issues with some of the clients here and there. The other good news is the kitchen is pretty much done, or I think it's all done, and there's more work that needs to be done there. But he says he's really positive. This individual, he's in his 70s, has serious health issues, but he says way better, just much better. And I asked him if any former staff individuals were considered to work there with Mercy Housing, and he told me yes. Apparently, there's supposed to be two individuals, but he hasn't seen them yet to come on board there. But one former past staff person talked kind of ill about these two individuals, that they shouldn't be brought in and da 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 da. But I don't know what's going on. And then I also asked him, well, what about as far as drugs, alcohol, things? And the one thing he told me, I can't remember the terminology that he used, but from what he told me, and this has been going on for decades with homeless shelters, that whether it be clients or staff, they just kind of like, if they do drugs, heavy drinking, they just kind of ignore it. This is something that needs to be taken care of. And I know Miss Barbara Anderson says, well, this is not a city issue, da 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 da, but he thinks that the city should get involved when it comes to, drugs and alcohol, whether it's between the clients or staff people. But I don't know. But anyways, overall, he's happy with right now as it stands with Mercy living there. So that's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Jose. Appreciate the largely positive report there. And we will, in just a minute, we'll go to Barbara and the Mercy House team just to talk about that transition. Any other questions or concerns from community members? All right, I'm not seeing any, so you can feel free to raise.
Landon,
go ahead.
one more.
Yeah.
Is there any updates to Under the Bridge on Quarantina?
There was actually a pop-up outreach event that New Beginnings facilitated to try to get more folks to engage. And then, law enforcement and Lieutenant Beltran can speak to this, was working on clearing encampments that we're building up in that area, again, over the holiday. So continuing to do outreach, trying to be a little bit more creative about how we engage with folks. I know the CityNet team has been engaging folks along that corridor as well, and then addressing some of the issues outside of those vehicles. So continuing to prioritize Susie in that region. And then the city is working on some ordinance amendments related to parking regulations. And we'll keep folks updated as we anticipate those probably sometime in February.
Okay, yeah, thank you. There's one vehicle in particular that I'm sure Lieutenant Beltran knows. It has quite a bit of stuff that's starting to come onto the street, bicycles and generators and cords and stuff. So obviously our trucks, are going through there very frequently. So just want to make sure that we have a clear passage.
Thank you, Susie. I appreciate that.
Susie, can you hear me? I don't know. I'm on my phone on. Okay, sorry. I'm trying it from my phone real quick because I wasn't in the office. But I think I know which vehicle you're talking about, but I'm less in the know as I used to be because I'm more so at a desk than in the field nowadays. But my team still fills me in. But anytime if there's stuff like that, please email me. I can get that stuff to the team ASAP. And we're more than happy to help out with that. And then, like Barbara said, yeah, we've been working with Code on clearing out some encampments down there by the rescue mission and down in the Quarantina area as well. Um, so yeah, we're on it. But any new information or any things like that, like specific vehicles that come up, feel free to please email it my way.
Great, thank you. Appreciate the support.
Thank you, Susie.
I have one thing to say. I've noticed that a lot of them have 5-gallon buckets still that are catching their sewage. So I don't know if that's an issue for you guys.
It's an issue for us. I've talked with one of the city attorneys about that because it's a weird proving it. We can still do what we need to take care of and handle that. There is just an angle that's a little bit difficult because if it's just water that's leaking, which I think we can all make an assumption that a lot of times it's not just water, that it's probably the gray water or black water, but it's proving that. So there's a lot of extra detail that I guess that has to go into dealing with that, but we're more than happy to. So I know what you're talking about, and they've been dealing with that as well, but we're just trying to keep up with it, I guess, is the best way to put it.
And Jesse, I'll say the environmental impacts of vehicular homelessness is one of the reasons that's, propelling us to come before council again on changes to our oversized vehicle ordinance. So we are noting that code enforcement is capturing photographic evidence of that for folks to understand that one, we've been working really closely with New Beginnings, and I think many of you know we have more resources than we've ever had to engage folks who are experiencing vehicular homelessness, to be able to get them on the pathway to housing. And we're still having a number of folks along that corridor that are very resistant to outreach. And I will say it's not just a one or two ask. We have some of these folks that have engaged upwards of 20 times over the last year. And so it's just really important for us to both, one, have that outreach resources available, continuing offering that, building rapport with these folks that, have been, let down by the system over and over again, but also having enforcement mechanisms to make sure that, our community continues to maintain health and safety for everyone. So we're trying to balance all of those priorities as we move forward too.
Thanks, Barbara.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Olivia.
Oh yeah, so I just wanted to add that we're providing outreach in the area as well, and it's kind of the same thing that Barbara was talking about. But we have had, a few people that are interested, but it's a lot of people. But we've had a few
And
successes with enrollments, so we're doing our best.
and we'll continue to offer shelter and everything, but as obviously things go, we know that there's a transition in process, just so the availability. And so as that our continued growing relationship with Mercy House grows, we'll continue to be able to provide the outreach and services and getting those informations. And as bed availability, all the stuff comes available, that communication will continue to grow stronger so these individuals get that support necessary. Um, so just know that it is a work in progress, but it is an area right now that's been highly impacted.
Thank you both. All right. Unless there are any other community questions or concerns, we will go to Barbara, Nancy, and Nina just to talk a little bit about the transition that happened. Oh, I see Jose's hand.
Yes, very quickly, what I forgot to mention, what the client told me over there. There is one client that's there. Not sure if he's dealing or using black heroin. And apparently, I believe that everybody's aware of it. And I had no idea that there's I just never heard about heroin in Santa Barbara. It's maybe very, very little of that. But yeah, this was something new. I've never heard of black heroin before. So it's pretty bad stuff. So yeah, so there's just somebody there that's they're either dealing in it with it or they're using it. It could be both. So that's just a quick mention there on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Yeah, why don't we go ahead and go to Barbara and the Mercy House team, just talk about the transition, maybe talk about some of the updated policies and ways that they're addressing some of the neighborhood concerns.
Yeah,
Good morning. Oh,
sorry, Nina, go ahead. Go ahead.
okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm Nina. I'm the regional director for Mercy House. I have Daniel right next to me here. He's the program manager of the facility. Excuse me for my nasty, I'm trying to be respectful of everyone's health in here. Sorry, Brian, I'm mute, sorry. I am here today with Daniel. So the transition has been going great. A lot of the guests here are super welcoming of our presence, of our staff. We have a lot of staff members coming from Ventura County who are experienced in operating a shelter. So a lot of the guests are so super welcoming, super kind. We're leading with compassion. We are doing everything that we can to implement our policies and procedures slowly but surely, and trying not to create so much change so fast. But everything is going extremely smooth. We do plan on cracking down a lot more on our good neighbor policy. We do plan on having another town hall meeting in order to communicate those efforts. We did also implement 2 security guards per shift that are doing constant rounds, making sure that we're cracking down on the drugs and alcohol use on site. And I feel like that's been going fairly well as well. Some folks are a little shocked on the presence that we have here on the site, but it's good. I think they appreciate it more than they don't like it. But otherwise, we've been working very closely with Be Well and Cottage on site to make sure that we're implementing our policies and procedures in line with theirs as well. So if there's anything else that you guys want to maybe add for us to check in with, or if there's any other agencies that we should be checking in with, we're happy to. But yeah, happy to answer any questions of anything that I maybe didn't mention right now, but thank you for your time.
Nina, that's fabulous. I know Mr. Ramirez has been asking for that for some time. So I know he's not on these meetings, but I'm sure his heart would be happy to know that you guys have it. Not just for the community, but internally, I think that's helpful. It sets the stage and a standard. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Olivia, go ahead.
Oh yeah, this might be more of a question for Barbara, but I was wondering if we are going to have the city beds at the Mercy House, like how we used to with Path to place people.
Every bed is officially a city bed right now. So we own the property as of yesterday. We closed escrow. So but we are, Olivia, we have a lot of work to do in the facility. So Nina mentioned not only are, the program operations and protocols, very significantly from Path to Mercy House. So the incremental changes that we're trying to implement with clients and guests on the property are going to take some time. But the facility itself is in really poor condition. So our commitment over the next few months is to maintain the current number of beds we have right now. So if we have a number of folks who are getting housed at Patterson Point soon. And so there's going to be kind of a reshuffle there, but once we feel like we're in good shape to introduce more guests on the property, city will have the prioritization on making those referrals. So we are investing and going before council again on Tuesday. This is upwards of $2.5 million on program operations, let alone close to $4 million on purchasing the property and doing these immediate renovations and repairs. So this is a huge deal for us, especially as the city faces a budget deficit in the next fiscal year. But I hope everyone in this neighborhood and the broader community knows that we're continuing to prioritize housing and homelessness as where we put any resources that we have and can leverage from the Measure I initiative that was passed by our voters last November. So I just wanted to speak to a couple of different things. One is the security protocols and presence and the difference between Path and Mercy House. And there's a lot of things that keep me up at night. But I will say, as Mercy House settles in and continues to staff up, the philosophy and the values and the approach of their organization on making sure that guests and clients inside the facility feel safe and secure, but that our neighborhood also feels safe and secure is really what the city was dreaming of and hoping for in this transition. So just really appreciate that. One, we didn't even have daytime security at Path prior to this, and we have two security officers on 24/7. And one of those security officers is doing patrols out in the exterior of the building. So you'll see that presence. And then there's also more staff on site. So Nina's saying that yes, we still have some transition. I think hiring up was difficult during the holidays. So Mercy House is actually bringing staff from other regions to be able to demonstrate the staffing levels that we hope to achieve there. And that is vastly different than the staffing that Path had on site. So, and Jose mentioned the kitchen. So the kitchen is not done. But I will say it's night and day. We inherited a completely inoperable kitchen that would not pass health and safety code inspection. We have done a removal of inoperable equipment. They have done a deep clean. And already I received the before and after pictures, and I will say we are thrilled. It is the step in the right direction that I think people need to see and experience. And I think guests are already speaking positively of the meals that are being provided, through the limited means that we have in this upgraded kitchen. So, and the city will be on site in the next few months. We have to address some immediate life safety and accessibility issues. And so you'll see our team coming in and out, as well as contractors coming in and out to start making and facilitating those improvements. But yeah, I can't echo enough that one, there's been adaptability and flexibility. Everything that could go wrong on the purchase of this property has gone wrong. So I think it was a very busy holiday. And we were transitioning staff during inclement weather. And as you all know, that just adds, a huge, series of challenges onto the team during that transition. So I want to share my gratitude. And CityNet and other providers have really stepped in to support and make sure that Mercy House feels like they have a network of providers that they can reach out to and connect with. And just, yeah, again, thank you so much. Olivia?
Yeah, thank you, Barbara. Sorry, I just feel like I'm I'm getting confused. So just to clarify, as of right now, is it just Cottage and Bewell that's able to make the referrals?
Yes, so Cottage and Be Well are the only two contracts that we have active right now. Our commitment has been to maintain the clients that are currently in beds while these agreements are being negotiated.
Okay,
But we
got it.
just can't take new intakes in right now outside of that because we just don't feel comfortable with the facility in its current condition to be able to have more clients than we do. And I will say, to be super technical, even the bed census that we got from PATH is all over the place. So Nina and Daniel can speak to this a little bit more, but we're trying to figure out who's in there right now, who's enrolled with a program, who is not, and making sure that we kind of get our, feet firmly on the ground. And Olivia and Al, you'll hear from us first because again, with the investment the city is making, if there's any opportunity there, we'll get first priority. But one day at a time. Hopefully we can get there sooner rather than later. But our expectation right now is to maintain and not increase the number of folks there.
Thank you for that, Barbara. And we'll be obviously in communication as well.
Yeah. And we know, the impacts of us not being able to take new referrals in, rescue missions feeling that, the neighborhood's feeling that, the broader community's feeling that. So we are trying to work as, expeditiously as we can. And we'll keep folks informed through these mechanisms and others to see what we can pull off. There's many miracles to happen in the next few months. So.
Yes, and that's one reason why we wanted to just make sure we all know New Beginnings is out there in Quarantina. We're out there in Quarantina. The city's out there in Quarantina. We have a full roundtable of support on the east side right now, providing, what we can do and what we have to work with. But, sometimes it takes a little time to get to see where that light shines through, so I firmly believe that's where we're on our way to. So let's just continue to stick together. That's what we do over here on the east side. We continue to bring, solutions to the table. From there, let's start putting the work into to make this stuff come into fruition. So I thank you guys.
Our commitment is to make this a facility we're proud of and a neighborhood that we're proud of. So slowly but surely we'll get there.
And since we had a few people join a little late, I just want to repeat what Barbara was saying earlier, that there is kind of a welcome event this Wednesday at 4:30 p.m. at the Eastside Library, in the Martin Luther King room. Kind of a chance to meet Daniel as well as some others from the executive team at Mercy House. So we invite you all to attend. So I'll just say again, a big thank you to the Mercy House team and the city and everybody who's been working long nights to try and get this going. I know it was a big challenge to get this up and running for the new year. And so we appreciate all the hard work you've been putting in.
Of course, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Daniel and I are available.
Thank you. And then let's go to the rescue mission, our other interim housing project on the east side.
Hi, everybody. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Suzette.
Good to see you all. Things are going good over here. We're experiencing a pretty peaceful transition into 2026. We're really happy about the cleanup that was done by code enforcement on Cesar Chavez the other day. That had turned into quite a situation. So we're really glad for that. We've been having really good service from code enforcement, also out in front of the mission and down the blocks, both sides. And Marburg has been responsive to our needs and concerns, so we're really happy about that. We are at full capacity as usual and operating with wait lists every night. I'd say anywhere from 10 to 15 people on the wait list for both men and women's dorms. Otherwise, we're having a good period right now. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, just let me know.
Thank you, Suzette. All right, let's go to outreach teams. Let's go to CityNet.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, things are going really well for us too. We're continuing to provide outreach in the area, and we've had some positive successes lately with our clients on the east side. We have had a few shelter entries. We had somebody enter treatment, and then one of our clients was recently housed. So things are going very well. We've done a few new intakes with clients in the area, so we're hoping to make some progress moving forward with them as well.
Thank you, Olivia. It was mentioned earlier, Patterson Point. This is a new permanent housing project that will be opening hopefully at the end of this month or early next month in Goleta. And so there will be some people who are able to get off the streets. I believe it's 25, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. So obviously it'll be people throughout the entire South County region. But what that does is it frees up beds in other interim housing units, which will free up space for other people to come off the streets. So hopefully that will exhibit some improvement in the community as well. Let's go to Lieutenant Beltran.
Hey, thanks, Landon. I don't really have a whole lot to pass on. We already touched a little bit earlier in the call on the Quarantina Rescue Mission area. Other than that, I mean, we've had some issues that we're trying to deal with kind of the train tracks backing up and also leading into Chase Palm Park. I don't know if they're warming fires or if it's more of like minor arson related stuff, but there's some stuff going on at night that we're trying to address and deal with. And it's I guess it's caused some property damage and also the safety concerns associated with that. But other than that, just the train tracks and then the areas we already talked about. Actually, one other thing was there had been an uptick in some activity over by the Cacique footbridge. We're aware of that. We're monitoring that, and we're doing some extra patrols in that area and kind of dealing with that as it comes. But obviously, there's some times where we're not there all the time. So some calls for service come in, and then we just try to address it as promptly as we can. But other than that, that's really the only update that I have.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I wanted to highlight that the Nina has put in the chat window some contact info for Mercy House, both email addresses and a phone number. And then I just wanted to turn it to Barbara. I don't know if you have any other announcements or anything you need to share while we're all together.
I realized that I didn't touch on Jose's comments about substance abuse issues that we have with clients and guests on site. I think Nina referred to this, no one is turning a blind eye. So I just, we are, I will say the team has made progress already in trying to shift the culture and understanding and the security protocols as they're continuing to be enhanced. It will really shift again people adhering to the rules and policies that Mercy House will be implementing. And, low barrier is our ethos, but it does not mean that one, we can support people that have substance abuse disorders, and two, that they need to adhere to a code of conduct while they're on property. So, we're just trying to balance all of those interests at the same time. In terms of just broader city updates, I think as I mentioned on January 13th on the consent agenda is just being able to complete the contract and scope of services with Mercy House in this interim period. We are anticipating an RFP process for a longer term provider in late March, and really hope that Mercy House can establish a track record with the neighborhood and has interest in maintaining their commitment to the property moving forward. It has been, as you said, a whirlwind. And that we have very big agenda items moving forward around rent stabilization, which is a huge part of us working to address the housing crisis. City Council has made it very clear where their priorities are on this, as well as the sense of urgency on getting a rent stabilization program developed and implemented, and an ordinance adopted midway through this year. So that timeline was presented to Council at the end of December, and we are moving forward swiftly. On Tuesday, the Council will be considering two ordinances. One is a rent increase moratorium ordinance for the period of time that we're working on developing such a program. And the second is amendments to the Just Cause ordinance as it relates to the Ellis Act. So we are right now anticipating that the agenda will roll through as is and that there's not a set time for that agenda item. But there's been communication, council really can set that direction at the start of the meeting. So we just ask folks to kind of listen in through Zoom or otherwise to keep on top of that topic if you'd like to engage. And you're also at any time able to submit written comment that's also published as part of the public record. So that's where we are. And then we will have a new housing and homeless services manager starting on Monday, folks. So Caroline Payne, which comes from, she works in North County but lives in Santa Barbara. She has a very strong background in homelessness related services, especially working with people who have been justice involved and kind of re-entry back into society and helping them make sure that they obtain and retain housing. So that is really what the depth of her background. And then she will also be working on the affordable housing part of this job as well. So the two of us will be teaming up and facilitating introductions to everyone for quite a while. I'll still be working on some housing related issues as well to support her in taking on this very big job. But I appreciate everyone's patience as I stepped into that acting role and keeping my other job as well. And I hope to be a lighter, brighter Barbara once Mercy House gets settled in and we get the team settled in. And again, just appreciate the collaboration and coordination as always.
It's great. We're looking forward to meeting Caroline, and yes, hopefully it does alleviate some of the things on your plate. All right. So, is there anything else while we are all together today? Any other final questions or concerns?
If I may just add a quick comment, I know that when we talk about the substance abuse challenge, especially at the shelter, I just want to quickly add that though we do have like a set of guest expectations for all the clients that are currently at the shelter, they they will be receiving those expectations, and as we operate the shelter, they have to abide by the expectations of that. Some of them, I mean, we don't allow the use of drugs and alcohol on the property, but as all of you guys know, if clients are able to exit the shelter, they may do that. It's still outside of the shelter, and that's where our hands might be a little bit tied there. But I also would want to add that we will have a team of navigators that will work very closely with each of these clients and creating their housing plans. Part of that could be also addressed during those meetings with them one-on-one. And definitely we are more than happy to work with each client that wants to work on sobriety and anything like that. So we definitely emphasize how important it is. We do take a trauma-informed approach, client-centered. So as much as we don't want clients to to do that, with there really is, the client has to be willing to accept the help in order for us to to help them with those issues. But we are definitely kind of trying to turn that around at the shelter. We do see it is a big challenge there, and especially if there's like drug use. We want to be able to address that immediately, just so that it's not a concern, become a bigger issue at the shelter. So we're definitely very mindful of that. We want to hear if everyone knows of anyone that in particular is selling or anything like that. I mean, we want to be made aware so that we can address that immediately. And like I said, we will have I can probably share that at the next time we meet, our document for the guest expectations, so everyone's aware of what each guest is expected to abide by at the shelter. And it does go over a lot of that, like the alcohol use and drug use, and how that's not allowed in the shelter.
Thank you, Nancy. Appreciate that. Jose, go ahead.
Yeah, very quickly. Ms. Nina Castellano, I know you and your staff have your hands full. I didn't mean to be very pushy in what I said. I know it's going to take time and a lot of effort, patience, and so forth to do the work that you're all going to be doing. And I just want to thank you and wish you all the best.
Jose, you getting a good word. I will take that all day into the weekend. So
Thank
thank you
you.
for sharing that.
Thanks, Jose. All right, everyone. With that, we will end our community portion of the meeting. If you are a service provider, if you can stick around, that would be great. But everyone else, thank you so much and have a great weekend.
Thanks,
Hopefully see you
everyone.
Wednesday.
Happy New Year.
Okay, I think we're good. Barbara, I don't know if you had anything you wanted to bring
I
up.
was sitting there when Jose was talking, like, and then he said it was good, it was positive. So I hope Nina and Nancy, I'm like, that was solid.
He's a
And I
wild
will
card.
Yeah, I will
Okay.
say that sentiment I've heard already, and I know that Al has engaged with a number of folks too. I think the understanding is, we're working with a transition staff wise, but even our city team that's come in and out has noticed the difference between the personnel with Mercy House and the personnel with Path. So, and speaking really positively about that. So I just one day at a time, but thank you
Yes.
so much for tackling this huge undertaking.
I appreciate it.
And then Wednesday, I really, Landon, appreciate. I'm just setting the tone as a warm welcome.
Right.
So, as you can see, we have some really engaged community members. And when they're feeling good, we are feeling good, and when they're not, we feel the opposites. So, yeah, I think the team is getting to know everyone, and this will be an opportunity to do that as well. And then we're opening up that Wednesday meeting to service providers too, to kind of get an initial hello with everyone as well. So, Al, is there anything in terms, I just appreciate Suzette sharing that she's having a good moment after addressing that encampment in that region. And I know again it's sometimes fleeting, but I'll take a win when we have it. And Olivia, take to heart too that you have folks that are waiting for shelter and that opportunity, and we'll get there as quickly as we can. But anything else kind of top of mind for folks, and especially Mercy House, any questions? This is your service provider, close-knit group on the east side, so I'm happy to support you in any way we can as well.
I don't have any questions or concerns, but again, we're very welcoming of anybody that wants to come through and introduce themselves, and we'll do the same and welcome you to our space as well as outreach. Thank you, Olivia and Al, I believe, for all the efforts that you guys are doing within the community, but we also want to welcome you to Cacique Street. So
Absolutely.
if you ever want to come down, Daniel and I will be here during normal business hours, and we're happy to work with you and make sure that we do what we can in the neighborhood.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely
that's
stop by. So I stopped by briefly last week, real quick, just to connect with the client and with a couple other staff members that I've known previously from the Wood Cottage and Be Well. But I'm the regional program director for CityNet, so
Okay, great.
I'll be over there. That's my home. I was there for 6 years. I have many stories in that. Like I said, I was there when by myself with 200 people for
Wow.
4 years working overnights. So I ran the graveyard shift there. That's kind of started my journey originally in homeless services. Barbara and I have been together pretty much my whole journey. Well, this is our home, baby. So welcome in. Like I said,
Thank
I
you.
got
Awesome.
I got to meet Timothy the other day. Haven't had a chance to meet Daniel yet. And them. So right here, I let Timothy and all you guys know we got your back. We got your support. We work hand in hand. We walk with love around here. So that's how we make a difference in our community every day. So let's continue doing what we do, and give the people in need, what they need.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries. Look forward to meeting you all in person.
Well,
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. Welcome to the neighborhood, and we're rooting for you guys. And you're welcome to come over here anytime and have a tour, say hello. I'm sure we will be meeting each other sooner or later, other different kinds of places. But if you need anything or have any questions, please contact me. I'm the shelter director, so welcome again.
Suzette's awesome. Like this is a rock star of a group over here. So, let's make it happen.
awesome.
Anime holding us together, from the
Yeah, and
Thank
beginning.
you so much.
I'll just say too that Varo Center team was able to connect with you all to find a time to meet up. So appreciate you making time for that too, in the midst of everything else you have going on.
And Suzette, I think just one kind of heads up that's client related. Al is again trying to work miracles with Ricky at Dignity Moves, but going like this. We will give you a heads up if we can't make the fifth stripe work with him. So we're trying
Okay.
to exhaust every option, but we will let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the update. We've, like I said, we're experiencing really good morale and solidarity in our staff right now, and challenges are waiting to move through again. So,
Yeah. So I said, I was like, I know it can be fleeting, but I'll take this moment while we have it. Yeah.
No, we'll give it a heads up. It's still good right now. We're still
Yeah.
good. We're continuing to fight. Like I said, it's round 4. You know what I mean? We're going.
Yeah.
I got some more rounds in me still.
Yeah,
We're good.
exactly. All right. Well, thanks everyone. I appreciate it. And here we are in 2026. So
Let's go.
onward. Let's go.
Make
All
it
right. Thanks,
happen.
Landon.
Have a good day,
Thank you
y'all.
all.
Appreciate y'all.
Everybody, have
Have
a
a good
good one.
weekend.